So last time we looked at how you can push code from your machine onto your GitHub repository, as well as how you can pull code from your GitHub repository onto your machine. Now, what if there's this particular file that has got information that has changed, both on your machine as well as on your GitHub repository? Because using git push or git pull is not going to work. There are going to be conflicts that are going to arise. So now how can you resolve those conflicts? So in today's tutorial, I'm going to change one of the files both on my machine as well as on the GitHub repository. So I'm going to change file 4.txt. So I'm just going to say echo. I'll say this is file 4 may be changed from my machine. So I'm going to redirect that into file 4.txt. Okay. So if I use cut file 4.txt, it will show me this is file 4 changed from my machine. So now that we've changed file 4 from the machine, let's also change it from my GitHub repository. So if I go to my GitHub repository, then I tap on file 4. Then I'll go and edit this file. So I'll just say file 4. Okay, let me just say file 4 changed from my repo. So let me just commit the changes. So I'll say updated file 4 from the repo. So commit changes. So now that we've changed file 4 both from my GitHub repository as well as from my local machine, let's now see what's going to happen. Let's say maybe I want to pull whatever is on my GitHub repository. So let me just say git pull to see if it's going to work. So it's now saying error, your local changes to the following files would be overwritten by merge. So please commit your changes or stash them before you merge, aborting. So git pull alone has failed to work. So you first of all need to stash whatever changes you've made, which is you save them minus committing them. So I'll just say git stash so that I save the changes that I've made on my machine. So now that they are saved, I can now say git pull. So Git has now put these files. So if the files that you want are the ones that are on the GitHub repository, then this is it. You don't need to do anything else. Because if I was to cut file 4.txt, it's saying file 4 changed from my repo, which is the same statement that I had put on my GitHub repository. But now if you want to apply the other changes that you had made, you can simply say git stash apply. So doing this is going to modify file 4, but now that file 4 is modified, you need to resolve the conflicts yourself. So you simply go to file 4, so vi file 4.txt, then you get to choose exactly what you want to keep. So you press I for insert. So I for insert, then you remove the lines that you don't want. So the line that I want in here is this is file 4 changed from my machine. So I can just delete these other ones. And I'll also delete this. This is the line that I want. So escape, double capital letter Z. There. So you now say git add. That's if you want to push these changes onto your GitHub repository. So you simply say git add, say file4.txt. Then I'll say git commit, and the message will be merged file 4. I can now say git push. So from here, you enter your username on GitHub. Then you also enter the password, which is simply the token key that you generated in the previous tutorial that we had did. So you simply copy that token, then you press enter. So now the changes have now been pushed on to GitHub, to the GitHub repository. So if I go to my GitHub repository, then I go on refresh. So the change is now there. So this is file 4 changed from my machine. Now, what if we had already committed the changes from the machine? What from my machine? What if I had already done git commit? How would we then have resolved the conflicts? So let's now look at that. So I'm going to change this file again. So I'll just go on edit file. Then I'll say file 4 committed from my GitHub repo. So I'm just going to end there. Then I'm going to commit this. So I'll say committed file4.txt from the GitHub repo. So I've now updated file4.txt from the GitHub repository. So now that I've done this, let me go back to my machine here. Then I'm going to echo something else now. So I'll say this is file 4. Then I'll say updated. So updated from my machine. So I'm going to redirect the output into file4.txt. And so if I say cut file4 to check what's in there, to say this is file 4 updated from my machine. So let's now add to the staging area, then commit these changes, and then see how you resolve issues that are going to arise now. So say git add, or if I want, I would have just put file 4. Then I'll say git commit with the message updated file 4 from my machine. So now that I've done this, let me now try to use git push. Let's see if it's going to work. So I'll say git push. So the username, then the token key, then press enter. So it will say rejected. So failed to push that. Then updates were rejected because the remote contains work that you do not have locally. So this is the error message that you're going to receive. So it's not possible for you to push when you've got files that are different, both on your GitHub repository as well as on your local machine. So this is where you now use git fetch. So I'll say git fetch. Then I need to specify what branch I'm using or what branch I need to fetch from. So I'll use git fetch, then origin is master. So if you're not sure what branch you have on your machine, you can simply use git status. So git status will show you the branch there. So on branch master. So that's why I'd use master, because I'm only using one branch. Of course, we'll have another video. I'll make another video on which I'll be talking about branches and how you can use them and how beneficial they are. But for now, since we only have one branch, it would have also been okay just to use git fetch minus the origin master part. So we'll say git fetch origin master, which is the branch that we want to fetch from. Then you can use git status if you want to check the branch. So now that we've done this, we can now use git merge. So I'll say git merge, since we only have one branch. So auto merging that, so conflict, automatic merge failed, so you need to do it yourself again. So the same thing that we did when we're using git stash is the same thing that we're going to do even here. So you go to file 4, so vi file4.txt, and there we go. So now the line that I want is this is file 4 updated from my machine. That's the line that I want. So I'm simply going to delete the other lines because I don't need them. So I'll delete those. I'll also delete these. Then I'll press escape, then double capital letter Z, and there. So you can now add these changes. So git add, then I'll say git commit, then I'll give it a message saying merged file4.txt and press enter. Then I'll use git push. Then you enter your GitHub username. Then you copy your token key, press enter, and there. So we've now updated the GitHub repository file 4. So if I come back here to my GitHub repository and refresh the, so it will now say this is file 4 updated from my machine. So this is how you can resolve such conflicts. And this is going to be happening mostly, especially if you're working with other people. Because in most cases, you'll find that they've pushed something, maybe you've forgotten to pull it before you even start working, or you've worked on the same file and they've also changed the same file. So you are going to be having conflicts, and this here is what you can do in order to resolve those conflicts. So for you guys who are new to the channel, please don't forget to like as well as subscribe, especially commenting, so that I know what you guys think about the video, and if there's anything that you need me to work on in the coming videos. Thanks for watching.